Hey guys, Austin back again, this time with another long play video. This time it's going to be Mega Man 2 for the 8-bit Nintendo. And we're actually playing this straight through the Wii's Virtual Console. And to be quite honest, I hadn't played this game in quite a long time. And I also put it on difficult mode, which normally I played on normal. And yeah, I die a few times, but I do manage to beat the game without continuing. And fortunately, as you'll see in this playthrough, this game was actually pretty generous with the extra lives given. There are a lot of situations where enemies were dropping extra lives, and that was kind of nice. But yeah, the good old classic Mega Man 2. This is a personal favorite for a lot of people in the series, and not sure if it's my absolute favorite. I've spent a lot of time with every Mega Man on the NES, and but I do absolutely love this game. It's an awesome game, very well done, and it's just a lot of fun to play. So I'm just kind of sitting on the character select screen. I think I did that so I could talk about it or something, but I just kind of didn't talk. But whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Metal Man. And yeah. And as you guys will see, some of my gameplay is good here. Some of it is quite rough. This is definitely not a tool-assisted video. You're not going to see anything amazing here. You're going to see me get hit a lot. And yeah, so don't expect anything amazing or anything crazy Japanese or something like that. It's just me playing the game, trying to get through it. You know, just so you guys can see what the game's like, and just so I can talk about it a little bit. And yeah, since YouTube doesn't have a limit anymore on as far as how long videos can be, it's I like doing these long plays, and it actually gives me a moment to actually sit down and play a game. Whereas on you know, my normal videos, I just gather a bit of gameplay footage and that's it, maybe like a half an hour's worth, and it's just random areas that I probably don't even really feel like playing. But doing these long plays, it's like I actually get to sit down and beat the game, so that's cool. Yeah, so it was nice actually sitting down playing this game again. I just kind of wish I had a little practice on it though. You know, most of these NES games were really like second nature to me because I played them so much when I was a kid, and even as I was a young adult, I still played a lot of NES up until the early 2000s, and even had a bit of an NES collection going on in the early 2000s with a few hundred cartridges. I never went for, you know, all 760 something or whatever there are in America, but I had quite a few, and I played the hell out of the NES. So yeah, I knew a lot of these games like the back of my hand, and these last few years though, I haven't really been playing all that much. At least not the NES stuff all that much. I'd like to get back into it, but so needless to say, these games like Mega Man 2 that I used to know really well, I was actually having a little bit of a hard time with. That's what happens when you get older and you don't practice like you used to. So, and I'm finding that that happening with a lot of NES games, as you'll see. I'll be doing other long play videos because I have quite a bit of Virtual Console NES selection worked up right now. Stuff like Ninja Gaiden, Castlevania, Mega Man, all that stuff. You guys will see me doing long plays of those too down the road. But, yeah, my skills are rusty in those games as well. And even Ninja Gaiden, which was probably my best NES game as far as skill was concerned. I was able to do that in one life, and in just a little over 10 minutes, I believe. And but not anymore. Actually, prior to doing this long play for Mega Man 2, I was trying to do one for Ninja Gaiden Part 1, and yeah, that wasn't working out too well. So I decided on something a little more simplistic, something I knew that I didn't need to have as much practice on, and so I picked Mega Man 2. I thought about doing the first Mega Man, but there's always a couple parts in that game that give me a lot of trouble, primarily on the last stage. It's the second level in the last stage, where you have to fight basically your doppelganger, and yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and play that game, and before I do a long play of that. But I definitely like to do a long play of the first Mega Man, that's for sure. That one is still the one that stands out to me the most out of the whole NES series. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but it just stands out because it has some unique qualities that aren't in the other Mega Man games. You know, you got points, you got your score, which is kind of unique, and yeah, just a lot of stuff. It's got just like a different feel. It could be said though that Mega Man 2 is a vast enhancement on the first Mega Man. It does things differently, a little bit. I mean, it's still Mega Man, it's still the same kind of game, basically, but the graphics are, I guess I'm gonna say a little bit better. They're a little more cartoonish, which works good for the NES, and the music was just awesome. I mean, the soundtrack in the first Mega Man was pretty good too, but it really took on a life of its own in Mega Man 2. Which is why it's probably one of the more memorable Mega Man games. That's why when you talk to people about the NES and you mention Mega Man, they're like, "Oh, Mega Man 2." You know, you never really hear the casual player say, "Oh, Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4." You know, definitely not 5 or 6. But you know, everyone enjoyed Mega Man 2. So it was definitely a nice big improvement over the first game. And it was, I'd like to say it was a little more balanced too. Well, actually not really now that I think about it. Once you get to Heatman stage and you got all those floating, disappearing platforms with an endless pit below you, and that's, I guess that's not really balanced, but oh, whatever. You got ways around it though, at least in this one, just like you did in the first Mega Man, so. And you guys will see what I mean by that when I get to that part in the game, because I did actually have trouble with that, which was disappointing, because I was trying to do this without using a whole lot of power-ups to make the game easier, but after I died once or twice, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to beat the game by whatever means I can. Also, normally I try to beat these bosses with just the pea shooter, typically. But on difficult mode, I forgot that the bosses take a lot more to kill, so I decided to go ahead and use the special abilities that damage them more, because, yeah, I'm a little rusty, and I don't want to risk dying. For one, the video wouldn't be all that entertaining if I died a lot. I mean, again, I do die a couple times, but, yeah, no one wants to watch a video where a dude's just dying over and over again, and for you guys that have watched my long plays of other games, you guys know my feelings on that, and I'm sure you understand, and I'm sure you probably agree with me too. So yeah, on the bosses, I end up using a lot of the special abilities to take them down quickly, and throughout the regular game itself, I do use Metal Man quite a bit, just because his weapon is awesome. It's a very versatile weapon. You can shoot it in pretty much every direction. You can shoot it quickly. It's powerful. Yeah, it's just a good weapon. Definitely one that they should bring back in other Mega Man games. Yeah, as you can see right here, I'm using it again. And it's actually pretty useful on this stage, as you can see right there. especially when those birds drop their eggs and they explode. Just one Metal Man shot can tear through most of the little birdies that come out from it. Now, I watched this Mega Man 2, I'm gonna assume it was tool assisted, but this dude's just like plowing through this stage, and he's jumping on like the edges of those drill bits and getting over them somehow, and I'm sure some of you have probably seen that. It came out, shit, probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer, and yeah, I was just amazed at that. I thought that you could actually do that in the real game, and I tried to do it myself so many times, and it never worked. And that was before I knew what you know, the whole tool-assisted thing was. And those videos are neat, but they can be misleading. Like I saw one for Zelda 2, where this dude just goes over like this wall in the very last palace, and just basically like cheat warps his way to like the final boss room, and I thought that you could actually do that in the game, so I went to that palace and tried doing that myself, and sat there for like a half hour trying to do it, and before realizing that it was probably a cheat. So tool assisted videos are kind of cool to watch, but at the same time I would personally rather watch just, you know, the normal thing. Especially if I'm trying to like learn tricks and tactics and stuff like that, because what you see in tool-assisted videos you can't always do in the actual game. So alright, we're slowly working our way through. Unfortunately, you can't skip through these messages here, so we gotta just sit through them. We got 3 robot masters down. Now, on that, after you select a boss master, you notice that there are stars in the background. If you hold A and B together when you select the boss or the robot master, you all those stars in the background will change to little birdies flying by. It's kind of funny. You guys will see me doing that at the last couple of boss guys I picked. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but the screen is occasionally blinking every now and then, and I have no idea what causes that. I have no idea how to fix it, but yeah. Now that I mention that, you're gonna be noticing every time it happens now. So if you stop watching this video because of that, I apologize. That's not what I intended, but there's an extra life like I was talking about. But yeah, I have no idea what causes that blinking, and it happens. It always happens in my my regular videos, you know, my 3D based games and stuff like that. But it happens like once every now and then, maybe like once a minute. And when I'm editing gameplay footage, I usually do like 30-second clips, and so you never actually see it, or for the most part, you don't see it. And but here on Mega Man 2, it's doing it like every 15 seconds or something, or even less. And I don't know why it's doing it more on this than it is other games. Maybe, well, I have no idea. I have no theory on it. I'm not a pro in, you know, video capture and video editing, so I'm not gonna make any assumptions or guesstimations. So what I'm going to try next time is, I was recording this with composite, just composite video, and I'm gonna try it with S-Video next time, because my capture card has S-Video support, and I have an S-Video cable for my Wii. And yeah, hopefully that'll change how often it does that. Yeah, so for right now, I apologize for that. I actually didn't notice it until after I was done recording, because I look at my TV when I record these. I have a splitter, and you know, so I can control the game without any lag. If I'm looking at my computer monitor as it's recording, there's actually like a second or two of lag, which makes being precise in these games really difficult. Yeah, this stage was great. I always liked how once you got to this long tower part, that the sky would change colors, and that was cool. I just missed an extra life. So as you could tell, like they were pretty generous with extra lives in this one, at least in this specific playthrough. And right here, I apologize, but I'm actually camping a little bit to try to regain my health. Because, you know, I'm really uncertain of my capabilities in this playthrough. And so I'm taking every precaution I can to stay alive. I don't even remember how long I do this for. And look, there's an extra life. Oh, man. Yeah, and I think that's it. Again, we're going to use the ability that does damage to Crashman, and that is Airman's ability. Which is actually kind of convenient, because it has like a swooping upwards motion. And you can see Crashman, he jumps really high into the air, so it works out pretty well. Which is cool. Like, one thing that's great about this game is that, like, the Boss Master's abilities almost... I don't know, I want to say they almost make sense as to why they would do damage to a boss. Either it's a certain pattern they walk in, or it's an element difference. In later Mega Man games on the NES, it was just like there was no rhythm or rhyme to the madness. You would just have a certain boss ability that would work on another boss, and it didn't really make sense, because either, you know, it helps against like the boss's pattern, or, you know, there was a certain like counter element that would theoretically do damage, and yeah. So, and actually I think Mega Man 2 was really one of the last games in the series that actually seemed to kind of make sense as to why you know, a boss's power would do a lot of damage on a boss and not another. So I don't know if that even made sense, or if I'm just pulling it out of my ass, but if you guys agree, you should post a comment below. Well, regardless, you should post a comment below anyways, telling me that you watched this and that you enjoyed it and you would like to see more. Alright, Bubbleman stage. I always like that background in the background. The waterfall is always pretty sweet. On normal mode, those guys take one hit, I believe, and on difficult mode, as you can see, they take like 3 or 4 hits, and enemies definitely take a lot more damage on difficult mode. So if you want, well, a more difficult mode, play it on difficult whenever you play this game. And this part right here, I actually die up here just a little bit, but on these spike things, you want to actually be really careful. When you walk off an edge, you want to make sure that you immediately stop after you walk off, because if you keep holding right, your Mega Man will keep moving right as he's falling down, and you might accidentally hit the corners of one of the black spikes. And that's a mistake I used to make a lot when I was a kid. I'll be able to explain myself a little bit further because I do die up here. Really cheap death in my opinion. I've never died this way at this area. Right there, boom. Normally they're supposed to fall in the center and I don't know what the hell happened, so yeah, cheap death. And the big fish, after you kill them once, they don't reappear. As you can see, he's gone. But right here, if you don't stop a good bit, especially in this one, if you don't stop and you just keep moving right as you're falling down, you will hit that spike, and you'll die. These spikes in this game, as you guys familiar with this series know, are instant deaths. There's really no exception to that rule in the Mega Man series. So it's not like the Sonic the Hedgehog series where you get hurt and you lose your rings or something. But in this one, it's instant death. So spikes should always be feared in this game. So I'm taking my time here now because I don't want to make the same mistake again. And I think I even wait right here for a quick minute, thinking another guy's going to fall down, but he doesn't. So this is always a fun fight. This is the only fight in the game where you're underwater, so you can jump higher. That's pretty cool. And I actually just use my regular ability here for the most part, I believe. But yeah, as you can see, every time I hit him, I'm only taking 1 pellet off his life bar. And normally when you, normally in this game, you take either 2 or 3 with your pea shooter. So difficult mode adds a lot more hits that you have to do to take a boss down, as well as pretty much every enemy in general. Almost every enemy. Going on to Heatman. I honestly don't remember what boss Heatman's ability is good against. And I really never use his ability all that often when I get it. Not in the past, not now. Might have used it occasionally in the past just for shits and giggles, but and the fact that you can charge it up, but never really use it against any boss. Here's the first instance of the disappearing platforms. Standard Mega Man trait. And I really hate him in this one because if you don't get it just right, you get pushed off to the side. And they were a little more forgiving in later Mega Man games. Quite possibly even the first Mega Man game. And I believe one of the reasons I die at this part is because I get pushed off to the side when I don't make one of those platforms 100%. And you guys will see that here in just a minute. This level actually isn't very long at all. It's actually probably one of the shortest levels in the game. Once you get past this main part right here, you're pretty much at the end. But this part was so tricky, especially back in the day. I remember doing this over and over and over again. Oh, that's the mistake I did. I took too long. yeah, that's where I die. I die once there, and I'm just like, alright, screw it. I bust out the number 2 special item, which is the kind of like the rocket platform, whatever you want to call it. And I just fly all the way across that whole section, and there's another extra life. I'm not complaining, because the more extra lives I get, you know, the greater chance of me being able to say I beat this without continuing. Despite the extra help. Yep, see again, pain in the ass. I was like, no thanks, I'll just cheat my way through. Alright, 2 more boss masters, and they're the little birds like I talked about. Flashman has a cool stage. It was always fun playing it, but the little light up theme they have going on here has always been pretty cool. And goes to show, this game really has a lot of standout moments in terms of just background designs and so forth. It's all very basic, but yeah, it's just done in such a way that it's just well done. Every stage has its own unique look. No stage really blends into another stage, and it's nice. This game has a lot going for it in terms of the visual variety department. And it's safe to say that some of the later Mega Man games on the NES didn't do that as well as this one did. Especially once they got a little more cartoonish in nature. From Mega Man 4 and on, the series on the NES did get a little more cartoonish. There were more simplistic colors, less texture details in a lot of areas generally. Like on the main floor platforms you might walk on. Not to say that they didn't look good, they did look good, but there's just something about this one, and even Mega Man 3, that you know, the variety in the stages and the textures and all that stuff was just really well done. So speaking of Mega Man 3, if I do another Mega Man long play, that'll probably be my next one because that was one I played quite a bit as a kid. Well, I mean, I played all of them quite a bit as a kid, but Mega Man 3 was actually the first Mega Man I actually owned myself. Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 1 I had just borrowed from friends back in the day. I didn't own them until later on down the road when I was actually collecting NES, but as a kid, Mega Man 3 was the first one I got as a gift for, I believe it was Christmas one year. And it was not too long after the game came out. It was that same year it came out, I believe. And I was really looking forward to it as a kid, and my parents got it for me. And yeah, I played the hell out of that game. I mean, I played the hell out of pretty much any NES game I had back then. I mean, because as a kid, you don't really have money, you can't go out and buy new games. You really rely on borrowing games from friends, or getting them at the occasional holiday, Christmas, and then your birthday. Those are the 2 times of the year that you would always get games. We were guaranteed to get games. You might get lucky with a cheap gift throughout the year, like a $10 game. As you're begging your mom in Toys R Us or something like that, but yeah. So Mega Man 3 was one of those games I got, and yeah, played the hell out of that one. And one thing I love about Mega Man 3 is not just because it's awesome, but because it's not just because it's awesome. I just missed that secret up there. Because after you beat all the main bosses, you go through 4 of the stages again. You fight all the Mega Man 2 bosses again, and that was really cool. Something you haven't seen since in another Mega Man game. So now this part can be a little tricky if you don't know what to do. You have to be like 100% accurate on this, otherwise you will die. These guys are a pain in the ass too, especially on difficult mode. They're not so bad on normal mode, but they take quite a few hits here. As you can see, I'm trying to lead my way into killing them, not realizing that they take as many hits as they do, and I get hit each time. If you had a right angle though, the Airman power-up can be okay to destroying them. And here we are at Quickman. The Flashman's ability will take off exactly half of his life, so I try to use that immediately. And Quickman, in my opinion, is the hardest boss in the game. His pattern is unpredictable for me, and I just tried jumping over him and it didn't work. I don't even know what ability hurts him after that, so I just use my pea shooter. Plasma pistol. I guess what they call it in the Mega Man games, the plasma pistol or something like that. Plasma shot. Alright, that's it. We're at the final level. Now, this final level is actually, God damn, I'm tired. This is actually like another 5 or 6 stages, I think. Yeah, at least 5. This used to actually be one of my favorite songs in the series, or the game. Now, since I was a kid, I have heard so many video game tunes. A lot of it just starts to blend together now. But when I was a kid, this used to be absolutely one of my favorite songs. And, I'd be at school and this would be stuck in my head. Yeah, kids these days don't have that. Going to school and have an NES game stuck in their head. Yeah, doesn't happen anymore, I'm sure. Now I actually messed up this part here the first time because you have to use the #1 power up here, and you can only shoot it out 3 times, and I try to shoot it out a 4th time and it doesn't come out. So just keep that as a tip to yourself. If you ever play this game, you can only use it 3 times. You have to wait for the last one to disappear before you can shoot another one out, like right here. Oh, here's the famous dragon boss. He comes up and starts chasing you, and that's really unique. You didn't have anything like this actually in the later Mega Man games. Which, again, this is another feature that, you know, lets this one stand out over the other ones in the series. So, this fight can be a little tricky too. You gotta make sure you jump over his fireballs, because one hit and you can go falling off the edge and you have to do it all over again. And I definitely died at this boss many times when I was a kid. And he's not that hard to take down though, if you can just get your shots accurately. As you can see, this is on difficult mode and he still went down very quickly. He'll go down even faster on normal mode, I'm sure. Now, each of these Dr. Wily stages sometimes takes advantage of one specific item or weapon, and you need to make sure that you don't run out of your special power, your weapon power, because when you die in this game and you start over, you start off with the same weapon power as you did, you know, prior to dying. Now, if you game over, you get all your power back, but if you want to try to 1-credit clear this game, you need to make sure you really use your weapon powers wisely. Especially Crashman's. There's, I believe, the second to last stage in Wily's castle, you have to use Crashman's on the boss. And you have to have a full 100% meter when you get to the boss, otherwise you won't be able to beat the boss. And then regaining your power prior to getting to the boss again without continuing, is a real troublesome task. Now, as you can see in that last area I was just in, you can see I missed a lot of extra lives, E-tanks, and stuff like that. When you're flying across the spikes in the very first part of this level, you want to make sure you take that second ladder and not the first one. I was actually quite tense playing this game because I was really rusty, and my memory was a little worn out, and so I was just taking every chance I got, and that first ladder was was basically like my instincts talking. So But yeah, if you take that second ladder, you get all those extra bonuses, extra lives, and whatnot. Now this part right here, I'm just trying to build up my power again. Because Metal Man's power is actually good on this boss, and that's why I'm doing it. And without Metal Man's power up, it can be a little, maybe a little tricky. I don't know. I've never actually done it without Metal Man's power up, so I'm definitely not trying to take any risks, though. Now this boss comes out from pretty much every angle, which is why it's good to have Metal Man's power up. I don't know why I keep throwing out more than I need to. That's wasting my ammo. I always throw out 4 or 5 when it only takes 3 to kill these guys. Obviously not thinking. Now, from this point on, this is where the game starts to have like a downer. And the music is just kind of like drab and depressing. But I guess that fits the nature of Wily's dangerous castle, because from here on out the castle is pretty yeah, not too friendly. Level design gets a little bit tricky with sort of invisible walls. You can basically like walk through certain walls and fall through them. There will eventually be platforms you could fall through, and spikes will be below you and you can die. And as you can see, there are a lot of spikes right here. Watch out for the big piranha thing. And this part can be a little tricky here too. You don't want to just walk off that edge, because you will hit that spike on that top spike. So you always want to jump a little bit to and then position your way down here. The same right here. You don't want to just you know, walk right down. Slowly position yourself properly, otherwise you're likely to hit those spikes. Very simple obstacle, but it's really easy to run into them if you're not careful. Now you gotta be careful with this boss. If you run into the treads before he comes in fully, or if you run into the treads after he comes in fully, you die. It's instant death, so you gotta be careful about that. And then when you have to shoot him in his eyes, and at the same time you're doing that, it can be a little tricky. I'm sure there's a special ability that works well on him, but I'm not using it, and I'm just hammered by these little dudes that pop out. I probably could be protecting myself by shooting every time I jump up, but I don't. Of course, I'm not thinking. it's always so much harder to think when you're actually playing the game. And now, when you go back and you watch through it, like I'm doing right now, it's easy to point out all your mistakes. This level is where it gets really tricky, and it's the boss area you really have to worry about. There's another extra life. There you go. I'll take it. Now you can actually use these invisible walls or walk-through walls to your advantage, like I'm doing here. And right here, I'm just using that to get over this area. You can fall through that on certain parts too. I didn't remember which parts I could fall through, so I just decided to play it safe. And you can just figure out where the jump through part is, and you can just use the number 1 to get up there. So easy access to that energy tank, which I probably will be using. Now this part could be a little tricky. You want to equip Metal Man's ability. Woodman's would probably do the trick too, since you can just let it run, and any enemy that comes up near you will get hit by it. Now, like I said earlier, this boss requires you to use Crashman's ability. There's no other way to destroy him as far as I know. And if you mess up and you run out of ammo, which is very likely if you don't plan it properly, when you die you have to start back at near the beginning, I believe. And there's just, with sections like this, it's almost impossible to build up your weapon meter again. So if you mess up on the boss, you're literally screwed until you have to continue. I hate those guys in this game. It's not so much that I hate them, it's that it's on difficult mode. It's just difficult to get around them and kill them quickly. I'm just being reckless right now. But alright, here's the boss. You'll see what I'm talking about. You actually have you see, you have some of these doors that you can bust open with Crashman's ability, but you don't want to use Crashman's ability on all the doors because you only have so much ammo. You have 5 of these dudes you have to kill, and you maybe have enough power to destroy 2 doors, maybe 3 at the tops. So you have to be really careful with what you do here. Because misuse of your weapon and you can't beat the boss. You will die. You'll have to die. And, this right here is really my only problem with the game. Is when they put you in situations like this, it just makes it really frustrating. Honestly think it would have been tricky enough as it is if they just didn't have the doors here. Because you still have to use your 1, 2, and 3 abilities. You still have to dodge their bullets. Which is still a little tricky, especially when there's, you know, 5 of them on screen, so... But, yeah, this boss is a little unforgiving. See, I only have 1 left now, so... If I miss, then... Well, I'm SOL, basically. Now we're very, very close to the end of the game. This is where we fight all the Robot Masters one more time. And then we go on to Dr. Wily. Kill him once, and then we go on to one very final short stage, and we kill him again. And then that's it. As you can see with Heatman, basically when you shoot him, he pauses for a second and he'll shoot to wherever you're standing. So you can wait for him to move, then jump, and he'll land exactly where you came from. Now, when you kill these bosses, you want to make sure that you aren't standing on the teleporter, because when you kill them, you'll immediately teleport out instead of grabbing the health bonus that they drop. This is one thing to be careful about when you're playing through these guys again. Here's Quickman. We'll use Flashman's ability again. And I just run right below him. And for you guys not familiar with this game, you'll get a kick out of this. That's right, use Metal Man's power-up on Metal Man. On normal mode, you actually kill him in 1 hit. It's always been funny. And on to Dr. Wily. And I use an E-tank just to be blah 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 blah. I'm stuttering now, just to be safe. Now that boss right there is kind of like a recreation of Wily's boss in the first Mega Man. The boss format is very similar, but this is different. You go to like a secret last boss area, and I sort of cheat my way through this just a little bit. I found this on one of the tool assisted videos. If you press start, you can work your way over like so. And then once you're this close to the screen, the right-hand side of the screen, none of these acid dropping things will hurt you or be able to hit you. You can just roll right through. Now on this last boss, Bubbleman's ability is the only one that works. Again, I think this might have been a poor design choice, because if you run out of Bubbleman's ability, you have no way to recoup it until you game over and do it all over again. So, cool ass boss, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying. If you mismanage your weapons, you could be screwed pretty much. So you got to really be careful with your weapon usage in this game, or at least these specific weapons. You gotta make sure that you hold on to your Bubbleman power-ups, and you hold on to your Crashman's ability, as well as some of your 1, 2, and 3 items. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the game. Yeah, not only did Mega Man 2, you know, expand on the original Mega Man 1 traits, but it added a bit of personality as well, as you can see in this part right here. And that's basically it. We'll let the credits roll out. Have no idea what that ending means, if it was supposed to mean anything. I never really thought about it when I was a kid. I was just like, yeah, I beat the game, yeah, look, he's walking, colors are changing, that's cool, and never really thought about what it meant. And, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say now. If you guys are still watching this, then I appreciate it. Thanks for sitting through this. I'm sure it wasn't as entertaining as some of my other long play videos, but whatever, it's just me playing the game. If you've never beaten Mega Man 2, now you know what it looks like from start to finish. Do 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 do, yeah. So, yeah, this was not the last Mega Man game on the NES. They went all the way up to Mega Man 6, and but this is definitely one of the most memorable ones for a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier in the video. And probably for good reason. Like I was also saying earlier, there's just a lot of variety involved in terms of the stage design and the looks and you know, the great soundtrack and all that stuff. So, anyways, guys, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out with that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I'll be back soon with another video. I'm not sure if it's gonna be another commentary or a gameplay or a long play or system overview. I have no idea. But if you guys are new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. I'm stuttering again. Be sure to subscribe. I've got all sorts of videos coming on a regular basis, so just, you know, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, be sure to sub. And I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy.